The Writers Guild of America has weighed in on the ongoing conversation nationally about AI tools and what sort of jobs they should get involved in, what sort of jobs they should potentially replace. They are going to allow artificial intelligence to write scripts so long as it does not affect writers' credits or residuals. They had previously indicated that they would propose regulating AI inside of the writing process for producing scripts, Hollywood, all that stuff. That's a concern that a lot of writers have, that they could be fundamentally replaced by these tools, but they're not doing that now. So they're proposing to regulate use of material produced using artificial intelligence like Bard or ChatGPT, and ensure that companies can't use AI to undermine writers' working standards, including compensation, residuals, separated rights, and credits, they say. So what they are gonna allow a writer to do is use ChatGPT or similar tools to help write a script without having to share writing credit or divide residuals. A studio executive also could hand the writer an AI generated script to rewrite or polish, and the writer would still be considered the first writer on the project. Now, some of that sounds maybe okay, but if that's the first step, you're already like being handed something AI made to polish it. Are you, like, I understand that they're saying at first glance, you're gonna be the first writer, but long-term, will you be? I mean, if you're just doing like a pass on dialogue or something, are they going to treat it as something that you wrote? What about for awards? What about for other opportunities? Like, there are other considerations that I worry are not being included in this, but Jessica, what do you think?
What if the AI gives a similar script to two users? I mean, AIs run on code, which is, they're probably fed tons of scripts of television and shows, TV, books, whatever. And then they're coming up with their own version based on the prompt that you give them. It's possible two different writers could give it a similar prompt and have the same output, no? What do we do with the intellectual property then?
Yeah, these seem like very, very complicated questions to adjudicate. I'm not saying that it's simple or anything. Yeah. I would love to hear from writers about what they think about it. Like, I write, for my Patreon or whatever. I don't write scripts or whatever. And thus far, I have not seen strong evidence that an AI could generate anything good enough to totally replace a writer, like a creative writer or whatever. But these tools have been like publicly available for like 6 months. In 10 years, could they produce an Ant-Man? Probably. I feel like that's probably coming. And eventually, I think that the corporations are gonna find it very appealing to be able to have very direct control over manipulating established scripts, to not have to collaborate with another human who has preferences and all that. And I think that really does get us into difficult territory. And here we're just talking about like script writing or whatever. But there's a lot of different types of writing. How you get your news, how actual books are written, social media activity, like how much of that is going to have to be adjudicated in terms of what's allowed and what's not. Anyway, I know you do a lot of writing, both academic and otherwise. Do you have concerns about this sort of thing getting into your sort of area of work?
What's interesting, I've seen 2 TikToks that were openly, this came from an AI. So one of them was about the Silicon Valley banking collapse. And they told an AI, can you explain this to me in terms of monkeys and bananas? And they were like, well, there was this tree with the bananas and monkeys were getting their bananas from the tree. And then everybody, all of the monkeys wanted their bananas at the same time. And then the tree had no more bananas for the monkeys. Monkeys were mad, monkeys angry. And it was really funny. I thought it was brilliant. I'm kind of pro AI Monkey? For creative purposes. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like a human could have written that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I understand what happened with it before. I was just pretending to understand it, but now with the monkey thing, I actually understand what's going on. I think they left off that the tree decided that the bananas should be woke now, and that's what really resulted in the problem. But it did its best job that it could, the AI. Anyway, we're gonna see. I'm sure that this isn't the last that the WGA is gonna have to, have to say about this. They say that the stuff that the AI generates will not be considered literary material or source material. Like, for instance, a novel or something you might adapt into a script. So it's a special other category, which seems like a safe way to proceed, perhaps. But I'm very curious to see how quickly things change in their approach to it.